USA's safe pilot.
Good morning, everybody. I'll be posting this live everywhere. We are on Twitch. We are on YouTube. It is a good morning. Let's see if we get the camera going right. There we go. Hello. Okay, we're just warming up. We're going to let some time pass and see if we can get into a little bit of a groove here. Get all the audios. All right. Okay. So for those of you that are new, my name is Richard. I go by UltraByRich, and today we're going to be going through a free workshop, Scale Your Ads workshop. So excited to get to know more about you and your businesses, but also share a lot of information that I have collected over the last 2 decades and tell you a little bit more about me and my background and see how we can possibly help each other. But I'm a big believer in trying to get free information out there. If anything, the internet's proven that we can all share information and better not only ourselves individually, but also our businesses. So really excited to kind of dive in and get a better pulse here. Get the audio fixed. All right. So first things first, this is a full 1-hour training. It's completely free. I'm not here to pitch you or sell you anything. If anything, it is a full tutorial. And then I also have an online guide that I'll give you the link to here shortly to tag along with. So first things first, let's see. Welcome. All right, so a little bit about me. My name is Richard. I am the CEO and founder of UltraByRich Consulting. I've been doing this for 20 years. Not only have I built my own brands, but I've helped clients, everything from a Fortune 500 Costco all the way down to a mom and pop burger shop. So needless to say, I've got a lot of experience when it comes to growing your business online. I've founded several successful businesses and had several successful exits. 2 of which I'd like to mention are Nature's Ultra and True Digital Signage. One of them was a health and wellness company, and one of them was a SaaS, B2B company. So needless to say, you can see I'm very diverse. I work with clients all over the United States right now, and they're in diverse categories, industries, and niches. I've generated over $100 million in revenue, so I've learned a thing or two on how to generate sales online. And I've helped clients achieve over 100,000 purchases with their online stores. We're based in Draper, Utah, here in Salt Lake City, Utah, and we service exclusively the United States. But absolutely, I am obsessed with businesses and growing businesses online. That's one of the reasons I'm hosting this free workshop. Okay, so like I mentioned, little bit of credibility here, not only generating a lot of sales for my clients, and not only my clients, but my businesses over the years, but also generating over $100 million. So first, 3 quick rules. Obviously, want you to say hi in the chat. Definitely interact, drop a comment. I'll interact as much as I can during the presentation. And then if you have any notifications, make sure you turn those on. And today is very easy. I'm not here to talk over your head. It is very much a beginner course, right? We want to help you learn. We want to teach you what is working in the market for us and our businesses and our clients. And then ultimately you can adapt that and apply it to your business. So this is not designed to make it difficult by any means. All right. Let's see. So here's the guide. It's also on UltraByRich.live. If you want to download that guide, you can. But it is very useful for the presentation. It gives you a full overview of everything you're going to need to be going through with me. And then I'll also make this guide available after the call. So you'll notice it brings you to the download page, and then you just hit download guide. And there you go. That's the guide we're going to be using for today. So pretty easy. And then the guide is designed so that not only is it help you go through the presentation with me today, but it's also designed that you can use it as a resource when you're working on your own paid ads. All right, so like I just said, here's our hour at a glance. We're already into our welcome and intro. We'll be spending some time talking about what are ads. Very easy, like I mentioned, super simple. And then we'll be diving in how to scale your ads. We'll be going into top 5 tips to scale faster. We'll be going into mistakes to avoid, and then we'll do a Q&A and a free gift. So definitely hang around till the end if you'd like to learn more. If not, you can definitely catch the stream over the next hour online. Today we did have over 200, I think it was over 200 people that actually showed interest in attending this workshop. So the nice thing about how Facebook works is it actually will notify everybody, and then it'll say the stream started. So if you did get a notification, you'll see that. Make sure we'll be doing these each week, so make sure you subscribe for the next week. All right. So the big idea for today is no real brand starts big, right? Nobody has a $10,000 daily budget out of the gates, right? These multi-million-dollar and billion-dollar brands, they didn't get there overnight. And the truth is all of these brands did have to start small. Right? And so in this case, I've geared this very much to a small business starting out, very little budget, and it allows you to kind of scale up. So when we see small, we mean small, like $5 a day. And then as you grow, you're adding to the revenue, but you're also adding to your sales and the spend at the same time. The goal is to do those synchronously so that your spend goes up and your profit goes above that. If those two cross, we're going to have some problems. And that's ultimately the idea for today, is to follow the scale. So next one, what are ads? Very easy. So a lot of times we get so busy throughout the day that we forget, what we're even doing. We're so focused on all these other business priorities we have, from clients to help to support, etc. So it's really important to kind of take a step back and just look at what's going on here. So an ad is just a friendly sign. Hey, look at this awesome thing I sell. I love that. But why ads are magic? They allow your content to reach thousands of people, whether you're viral or not, right? In my opinion, it's very much a viral system designed to get your content, your message out there without it having to be organically viral. It's be paid viral, right? And that's also ad distribution at its finest, is it's just in line with everything else that's going organically viral, but also it's an ad. So you're reaching people 24/7, 365, whether you eat, sleep, or relax, the ads are running. Organically, it could go for a day, 2 days, maybe a week if you're lucky. But after that, the organic flow dies. And then this really shows your product to people in your city or around the world that would have never heard about you or your product or your brand ever. And then, like I said, they do run 24/7. So you truly have like that 360 approach. All right. Ads are everywhere. You definitely already know this. If you've used any social media platform in the last 5 years, you're seeing an influx of ads. In fact, every few swipes now, especially on like TikTok, is going to be an ad. And the nice thing is there's a variety of different ads you're seeing out there. Everything from, local, like a cold lemonade example I've got here. That's a very local demographic. You got a toy store commercial that could be a regional, a national chain. And then you also got a Facebook post, right? So these are all different types of ads, different angles. Okay, so every great ad has 3 easy parts. The first is eye catcher, right? When we're scrolling, when we're swiping, we have to be able to see it and stop it, and it almost has to be a scroll stopper, right? So you've got 1.5 seconds to prevent them from swiping. So use that 1.5 seconds to your advantage. You definitely need to make sure that you're enticing them to every way possible. We don't want to have anything that would be fluff, especially on the front side. We want to make sure that you truly have their attention immediately. And then the moment you have their attention, you're going to tell them why you have their attention, right? And you want to be friendly, almost like you're talking to a friend. And this really allows you to get your message and convey your message. And then do not forget your call to action, right? You've hooked them. You've given them your message. Now tell them what to do. Do you want them to shop? Do you want them to book a call? Do you want them to fill out your form? Again, these are all direct actions that all the advertising platforms have. Make sure your call to action matches. Okay? So what makes an ad great, right? What are things to stay away from, right? Blurry, dark photos, that makes sense. If they can't see it, they're not going to like it. Long wall of boring text, if it's too hard to reach and too much to read, they're just going to skip it. It's too much, too overwhelming. If there's not a clear message, if you're trying to keyword stuff, you're confusing them. And again, if there's no button to click and no call to action, they're not going to go anywhere. And then ultimately, if you're trying to sell kid toys to parents or individuals that don't have kids, you're showing it to the wrong audience. And then running forever, even with no sales. So a very important step is strategy and changing out that strategy each week, each month to really chase what's working for you and your business. Now, what are some things that make a great ad? Bright, happy photos or a short video. Short and sweet definitely wins. Short, punchy, friendly message. Clear reason to buy or click. Give them a promotion, run a sale, add that urgency. Obviously a strong button, shop now, learn more. And then if you're targeting the right people, they've already shown interest and you're retargeting them, then you're talking to the right audience. And again, we're looking for, I like to call it fishing. We're looking for nibbles. And if we get a nibble, great, we're going to push that concept and that idea more. If we don't get any nibbles, we're going to change, we're going to adapt, we're going to roll out something new. So again, it's really important to understand what makes great and what is terrible and to stay away from it. Okay. So where are your ads showing up? If you're running ads, where are they showing up? We're seeing this massive shift. A few years back, Google was the primary. TikTok was non-existent. And Facebook and Instagram was 2 or 3 on the list. Now we've seen a very big shift. You can see 4.3 billion users on Meta, which is Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. And I do recommend most of my new clients to start there. That is the easiest path to advertising at the lowest entry point cost. And then, of course, right behind it, we have Google Ads with 3 billion searches a day. And Google allows you to tap into a few different networks. First, you've got search intent. So if you go to Google search and you type in a keyword, you can run an ad there. You've got shopping intent, so you can see images and products and catalogs. And then you also have YouTube. So Google does give you the variety of multi-platform, multi-content types. And then TikTok is right behind Meta, and it's obviously gaining traction each month. Trying to take down the big boy Meta here, but it's still at 1.2 billion users. So not the full size, but still lots of people to target and advertise to, not only in your local area, but wherever your regional or nationwide or even worldwide products are. All right. What do you sell? If anybody's in the chat, chime in, tell me what you sell. We're going to read out the answers out loud, and we're going to interact with them later on. Okay. Now we're going to talk how to scale your ads, make them grow bigger. What are we going to do? Scaling simply means making your ads bigger and stronger without breaking them, right? You hear this a lot. Scale your ads, grow your business. What does that actually mean? So first things first is we have to plant the seed, right? So we're starting with a smaller budget, especially for our newer startup businesses, you know, $5 to $10 a day to start. And we're just testing concepts. And we're really trying to grow the plant, right? We want to know what concepts are working and what concepts are not working. So as we start getting concepts that are working, and working means traffic, clicks, add to carts, purchases. If they're getting that sort of traction with the smaller budget, it's a really good indicator to scale it. So now we add more budget and we get more results. It's not that hard when you break it down, but it is very much a process that you have to follow and really read the data to make those decisions. All right, so start small, you know, test with a little bit of money, $5 to $10 a day. Other brands, you know, we may recommend a 30 to 50 per day. And if they're in a really competitive segment, we will recommend 50 to 100 a day. So you can see if you're on the super starter side, you can go under 50 a day and even start as low as 5, 10, 15, or 20 a day. I can tell you Meta's platform, and most of them aren't going to start reacting more when you cross that $15 threshold and you go to 15 or 20 a day. So again, depending on where you're at budget-wise, make the right decision and get advertising. You're not going to get to these higher budgets unless you start somewhere. So even if it is $5 a day, you got to start somewhere, build up your audiences and your attention. So again, you're in learning mode, not spending mode. You're not ready to bring out the bigger spend yet. You're just trying to figure out what's working and protect your budget while you test different ideas. And small tests, multiple small tests, give you the big data. And then you know what's working and without all the risk. So again, keep in mind, everybody's got to start somewhere. And budget is usually not the biggest concern. Obviously, if you don't have any money to start, that's a different problem, right? Now save some money, work towards a cash flow. See if you can get some momentum for 2 to 3 months of run rate. But at $5 to $10 a day, that should be more than enough to start. All right, so find it after 2 to 3 days. Again, you're not making decisions the next day. You're making decisions 2 to 3 days later, okay? So you want to keep the winners and turn off the losers. You're looking for lots of clicks. You're looking for likes. You're looking for comments. You're looking for messages. You're looking for sales and conversions. And you're looking for a lower cost per click, right? If the cost per click is $5 to $10, that's not low. If it's $30, $50, $60, that's not low. That's one click for that much money. If your cost per click is under $1, that's low. And then again, turn off losers. No clicks after 3 days. Spending money, 0 sales. Very high cost per click. Nobody's engaging. So everything you're looking for is missing. It's very obvious when it's working. So you're going to grow slowly. What does that look like? Give me an example of growing slowly. So here's a real example. Day 1, $5. Day 4, if your ideas that you are testing at the $5 range is working, you're now going to scale. And then you can see week 2, which is really day 7, you're now doubling again. And you can see it's a double, a double, a double. So by the end of the month, you should be at roughly 80 a day. And then you can literally start growing your sales. And a lot of times at 80 a day, you should start to see that, 3 to 5x ROAS to help you scale up higher. If you've got the right messaging, the right offer, the right urgency, you'll be getting there. If you get to day 4 and it's not going well, that doesn't mean keep going and keep spending. That means reset back to day 1. So again, the ideas have to test and scale, and this is how we do it. You'll notice that we don't increase budget over 20 to 30% at a time. We're not looking to double the budget overnight. The budget has no idea what you're about to do to it. And if you double it, triple it overnight, it's just going to break. And or spend all of your money with no results. So you're not after that either. So again, grow slowly. Here's a great example. Daily spends at 10. We have 3 sales. We're at a 3x ROAS. We're winning. 20 a day, 6 sales, 3x, we're winning. 40 a day, 12 sales, we're winning. 5 a day, 0 sales, 0, turn off. We're moving away. So you can see the data and the math will line up. And it may not be sales. If you have a harder product to sell, that may not be sales in this example. That may be clicks. If you have a more expensive or high ticket offer, that may be impressions or engagement. You're looking for those lower wins so that when you do come up to the higher spends, when you do come up to the 40 or the 80, you're prepared for that scalability, and then the ads actually can scale. All right. So here's a great example of a client that actually sold t-shirts. We started with the $10 a day. We were able to get 3 sales. We duplicated the winner, and we had 9 sales a day after the week. So again, 3 to 9 sales a day, triple the run without making a single new ad. So you know the ad copy is good, and you see the conversions. So truly, you're following the data, you're following the sales, and you're pulling back at every moment that those are not there. All right. So again, start small. The 3-step scaling system, start small. Find out what works. After 3 days, keep the winners, kill the losers, let the data decide. Remove your personal opinion. And then you're going to be growing 20 to 30% at a time, not doubling it overnight. And then you're duplicating your winners. Do not be afraid to reuse the ad that is actually making you money. That ad is a winner. So you can use it constantly and all the time to ultimately drive more sales. So if you have a winner from a previous set, don't not include it in the next set, include it in the next set and have it compete against your new ideas to see if it actually works. All right, section 4, going a little fast. So top 5 tips to scale faster. Very clear. I think it's really important to stress that people like to see happy pictures. You know, smiling faces, stop the scroll is a really good example. People respond to happy emotions, right? If it's not even, again, the faceless movement did not live very long. It's still working in a different way, and it adds a content variety to your strategy, but faceless does not work nearly as much as face. And I think this is coming more relevant as AI comes into stream. You're seeing a lot more use of AI and people trying to use AI UGC, so user-generated content. And people want to make testimonials of people talking about their product, except these people are not real. So I do think into 26 and 27, you're going to see a big shift of real people versus AI people, because AI people's becoming so authentic looking. People are going to be able to tell really quick when it is somebody real because they're going to have the human error element that AI doesn't. Everybody makes AI video content so polished. Again, we don't want it polished now. The big movement has been anti-polished. So happy emotions, happy people. If you're smiling, talking about your product, hey, I have my product, I got a big old smile on my face. Very different than if I'm like, bah, buy my product. You know what I mean? It just doesn't have that same connotation, especially in social. So I do think it's also helpful to realize that bright colors are going to grab attention. People are visually looking at your brand, whether you know it or not. And then ultimately, you know, red, orange, yellow, anything. And look at my color. Mine's a fluorescent red. So yes, we like the bright colors. And then short videos. Short videos is big results. We have some videos that are 6 seconds long and they've made hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay. So when you get in your head that you got to make this big old fancy video, you're wrong. It's multiple angles from multiple ideas, testing a 5 to 6, and in this example, 5 to 15 second example of that angle, right? So if I were to sell saunas, I would show it maybe being built, and that would be a quick 5-second snippet. I would not add in 3 different categories to it. I would just stay on one category for that 5-second snippet, and then I would test it. And then I would do another snippet and another angle and then test it. And then when you get 2 or 3 done, you put those in a bundle and you can test those against each other. And that's ultimately where you're getting your data from now, is in the testing of the ideation. All right, the visual checklist. So again, if a real person is using your product and they're fumbling or they're not saying the right things, that's actually better video content now than some perfectly polished piece of content talking about your product. So authenticity beats polished every time. Text overlays are really hot. Just a 2 or 3 word headline over your video of what it's about, and it can be catchy. But many people do not watch your videos with sound. So it's really important to realize that you've got to add either captions, which we add captions to everything right there in the middle, and then have a headline of what the actual context is about. And that ultimately will drive more engagement for your ad. And then dark and blurry, obviously don't use dark and blurry backgrounds, bright backgrounds, natural light. People want to feel alive when they see your photos or your videos. So if you're recording in a dark room, don't do it. Just try to add as much light as you possibly can, or even go outside and do a recording of your product or your service. All right, so yeah, less is more. A lot of people, and I'm even guilty of this when I was younger, but you like to just shove all of the words in there at the same time. Well, the truth is all of the words at the same time are not going to help you sell more of it. In fact, we've proven that less words sell more. So again, less is more, 1 message per ad. The moment you try to add a second message to a single ad, you're now confusing your customer and you're ruining your data set, right? You're testing this idea. You want to see how it does. You collect the data, you make a decision. So the first 3 seconds are probably even more important to that because it needs to be very clear. And you have to be exciting in those 3 seconds to keep them, right? As soon as you have them, you have them. You don't have to, you can say anything you want after you have them, but that first 3-second hook, and like we talked about, 1.5 seconds is your stop scroll, but that's the moment you have to shine instantly. And let me describe what we're seeing like that right now. So let's say, we'll use a meme video. Like let's say there's a car crash. You would show the car crash up front immediately in the first second. And then the next second you cut to the beginning of the video before the car crash happens. So social media is very much, I want to see what happens now. So if you were to be building a sauna brand, you would show them the finished sauna or the last nail or the last hammer or whatever completed, and then you would start over. So a lot of that is moving the exciting part to the front of the video piece and then rearranging your more meat and potatoes right after the hook. And then again, people are rarely stopping on products when they don't have human element to them, right? Your fancy product studio shots are no longer king of the crop. Nobody wants to see your product in a photo shoot all by itself. They want to hear you talk about it. They want to hear you open it. They want to hear you use it, et cetera, et cetera. So the visual checklist, I think, is incredibly important into making sure you've got your segment right. All right. Number 2, you're going to talk like a friend. A lot of people like to do this wrong. They want to sound very robotic. They want to add in all the fluff and make them, this is the best product ever. You need to buy it, and nobody competes with us. It's got the best product. You can see our premium adhesive product offers unparalleled quality at highly competitive market price points. Nobody talks like this. Nobody buys from this. These are real humans buying your product. They are going to want to buy from real humans. And again, I think this is proving the AI slop point. Hey, you're going to love these stickers. Super cute, lasts forever, ships in 2 days, grab yours. So they had all the key points to make sure you knew what to do. The urgency was there. Grab yours, ships in 2 days. But it's still very personable. Hey, you're going to love these stickers. And again, this is probably more of a testimonial or a influencer testing the product and sharing their feedback. All right. So 5 simple rules for writing ad copy. The first one is lead with the benefit, not the feature. Nobody cares if you're waterproof material, okay? They care to stay dry. What is the value? What is the solution your product is providing? Tell them that. So immediately, stay dry all day. Tired of sore feet? Or buy our shoes? Now you need to ask them a question, not tell them a statement. So stay dry all day. Tired of sore feet? Shipping goes up Friday. Again, create that urgency. Not fake pressure. Not this is your chance, last moment. Tell them what's changing. Give them a reason to buy right now. So if it's free shipping and you're going to add shipping, great. Then you're going to go to shipping goes up Friday. Or maybe it's a buy one, get one free, right? Sale ends Friday. Or maybe it's a discount code, right? Save 25%, save 35%. And then keep it short. Some of our best ads have been literally one sentence. And again, if you can clearly match your video or image directly to your caption and make them all work together, that's what we're seeing truly move the needle. So if it's too long, if you're having to scroll, we've seen some people put captions and there's paragraphs there. Guess what? Who's reading those paragraphs? No one. So if you want your ad to be effective, it needs to be short and sweet. And then always end with your call to action. You're not here to just bring them along the ride and tell them what's going on. You need them to do something. What do you need them to do? Shop now, visit our website, click to learn more, message us, book a call, whatever that action may be, make sure you're always including it. And then you combine them together. You've got stay dry all day, tired of sore feet, shipping goes up Friday, shop now. I mean, not that that's our product, but that's a good example of even just using all of these. All right. Next thing, show it to the right people. So we don't want to show dog toys to cat lovers, right? They don't like dogs, they like cats. So it's really important that you know your target setup, and then as you're wooing them, especially in audience development, you want to make sure that they're interested in the right things, right? So if it's a male or female product, make sure you select a gender. If it's an older, middle-aged, or younger product, make sure you select the right age demographic. And then depending on their interests, their location, and their behavior, make sure you're selecting those right topics. Now, some of the platforms have very much moved to let the algorithm figure out who your demographic is. And we very much utilize that after the top of the funnel. We've done a much bigger shift of top of funnel advertising, meaning the first ad that we run that you would see, every other ad thereafter you have to be in our audience to see. So this is a great example of where we would use that top segment to target women, 25 to 40, loves dogs, in Salt Lake City, and online shopping. And then every funnel below that would only use audiences. So again, make sure the people coming into your funnel or the starting point of the funnel are actually people you want. If they're not people you want, you're wasting your time, your money, and your funnel the wrong way. So again, make sure you're showing your ad to the right people. All right. So another big thing I catch people doing is they don't check their ads every day. They may run them and then they don't check them for a day or two. Like we talked about, you literally have to be managing this every day, and you have to be making decisions to cut or add a new ad. So in this example, we definitely want you checking every 24 hours. I recommend just waking up in the morning and logging in and checking, and then maybe in the afternoon and evening checking again. 2 times a day is nothing wrong, but you're just making sure that your ideas and your strategies are actually working. So money spent, very important. What's your budget at? What are your goals for your budget? Are you over budget? Are you under budget? Do you need to pause? Do you need to pull back? Do you need to spend a little bit more to get the reach you're looking for? Clicks. Are people clicking? Are people interacting with your brand? What are they saying about your brand? What are they commenting about your brand? And then ultimately sales and messages. Are people interested? Are they ready to convert? Or is your offer too expensive? Is your product not right? Is your product too expensive? And then ultimately your cost per click will dictate all of this. So if your cost per click again is $5 to $10, that's expensive. If it's $10 to $20, very expensive. If it's over $20, you're doing something wrong. Again, some of our best ads only cost a few dollars or less, under $1, to get a cost per click to their ad. And the reasoning is then the engagement's higher, the cost per click's better, and ultimately your purchases and your conversion's better. All right. Top 5 tips. Number 5, be patient. I think especially if you haven't done this before, I've been building ads and growing companies for the last 2 decades. I'm very comfortable doing this. You may have never done this before. So it's really important to keep yourself at a patient mindset and always keep learning. Again, utilize resources like this workshop, like my YouTube channel. There's other things on the internet in general that you can always use as a resource. So take advantage of that. Big trees take time to grow. And so do great ads. Right? You've never seen a tree grow overnight, right? Now that we're waiting years for some trees to grow here. But it is a great analogy. You want to make sure you give every new ad at least 7 days before judging it. Again, in that day 1 to day 4 to week 2, that's kind of in that 7 days. And then you're cutting it. You could say, I tried it. I tried a different angle. I made adjustments to that angle and it still didn't work. I'm cutting. And again, go back to your list of angles you want to try. And again, they're very short segments. All right, so test one new thing each week. You don't really want to be throwing a bunch of changes all at once. I think that's where some people get lost real fast. They have a hard time focusing on what they're testing and they want to test it all at the same time. Well, when you test everything at the same time, you're not going to get any clear data. So again, make sure it's really important you're pinning 2 or 3 different ideas against each other and that they're not related. And then that way you have the full 7 days of data and you can actually see what's working. But it's still one new thing each week. So that way you're not messing up the algorithm and chasing different things. And again, you want to pay attention to the trends over the last 7 days. If you look at a 1-day snapshot, it's just going to mess with your mind because some days could be really good, some days could be really bad, other days could be right in the middle. So we're looking for averages, right? We want the averages to be scalable. We want the averages to go up. And that's not going to happen unless you actually look at it from a 7-day or multi-day reporting status. So a lot of times, run your ads this week on Friday, do the last 7 days and see how you perform. And again, a lot of people get discouraged with bad ads. They're like, oh, they ran these ads and they didn't work. Well, did you get data? Did you define some angles and test points that you wanted? If none of them that worked, that's okay. That doesn't mean they're bad ads. That's data. That means all those ideas you just tried, you've got to come up with new ones or pull from the bucket and get some new ideas tested. Because whatever you're trying is not working. It's not a reason to give up and stop. It just means it's not working and try something new. So I think, again, every bad ad really gives you that opportunity to find something new to test. It can be discouraging because you want to win or you want to have sales or you want more clicks or you want more traffic. But ultimately, you need to figure out what message to tell your customer is working the best. So look at the data, stop making guesses, follow the data, and don't think it's a failure. Every bad ad is a step in the right direction if you use it the right way. All right. So to recap, this is your cheat sheet. Happy pictures, happy videos, talk like you're talking to your best friend, target the right people, check your progress every day, be patient, and keep testing. Never give up, never surrender. All right. Well, looks like we're about on time. It says 30 to 40 minutes. We've been live for 40 minutes, even though we did a little warm up. It's okay. We're gonna keep going. So, mistakes to avoid. Don't do these. Mistake 1. This one happens. People add a 0. They get excited. They want to get sales today. The concept of squeezing the machine with more money is a recipe for disaster. Again, the algorithm is in learning mode. Do not add more money. you're going to lose it. Especially if your budget's smaller, you don't want to blow your entire budget on the first couple days. So in this recommendation, start at 5 to 10. A lot of my professional clients, we're going to be starting in that 35 to 50. Okay? And then mistake 2. This one I see all the time. This one is really bad. People see something good, they copy and they paste it. Well, when you copy and paste it, you're copying and pasting what's working for their brand, their product, their service. Just because you like it doesn't mean it's going to work directly for you. So you need to really analyze why you like it and then how to recreate it or repurpose it in your brand. So there's nothing wrong with copying. It's just when you copy and paste the exact same thing, that's not going to work. So again, copying is good, pasting is bad, copying is good, reiterating, repurposing, retooling to match what you want, also good. And this is a great example if you find a viral reel that's already gone viral in your niche, your product or your service area. That's a good example of what to create and test for you. So if anything, use them as good signals, but do not rely on them solely for what they are. You need to make your own. And plagiarism is not fun. You don't want to steal somebody's stuff. So don't do that. And to end on that note, be inspirational. Right? If somebody inspires you because you like it, that's fine. Recreate it in your own way. All right. This is a big one. A lot of times people are optimistic and they're like, this is going to work. So I'm just going to keep running it nonstop until it actually works. Well, bad news, it's not going to work. You need to kill it. So we're looking to make those changes as fast as every 3 to 5 days. If we're not seeing the engagement, we're not seeing the likes, we're not seeing the comments, we're not seeing the clicks, we're not seeing the purchases, we're not seeing the add to carts, those ads are getting cut. And guess what? We're running new ones. So again, it's back to that rinse, repeat style. And you're just trying to get up your win rate, right? Out of the gates, your win rate's probably going to be low, 1%, 10%. So if you run 10 ads, you're only going to get 1 or 2 out of them. As you get better at creating and running ads for your brand, product, or service, your percentage are going to come up. You're going to run 2 or 3, and maybe 2 or 3 are starting to win. So again, do not leave bad ads running. Check them daily and turn off the losers fast. Mistake number 4, getting upset. I've seen a lot of people just get so mad, and it's understandable. It's your time, it's your money. And then they pull back and they say advertising doesn't work, and then they become one of the propaganda machines for Facebook ads didn't work for me or Google ads didn't work for me. That is just a harsh reality check. If you didn't do it right, you learned, but you just gave up. You didn't necessarily fail. You just stopped going. So don't get upset when your ads fail. They're not failing yet. That's technically data collecting. You're looking for what to do next. And so when you get a signal that it's not working, that's actually more helpful than it is working, because now you can try a different angle. Okay, if I didn't try that door, I'm gonna try this door. I didn't try this door, I'm gonna try that door. And again, a lot of times it's helpful to just make a list of things to try for your brand as you're strategizing, ideating, and then you can pull from that list anytime you run out. So it's a lot easier for you to kind of get the new pieces in place. And then ignoring your winning ads. This is an unusual one. Sometimes people are like, well, the ad's running. I don't want to touch it. It's making money. It's working. Well, you don't want to ignore them, because if you do your budget right, it could actually increase your business revenue drastically. So you need to give them more budget. You need to duplicate them. You need to test them on different angles, but that doesn't mean the ad's bad in its current state. That means you have a winning ad, and now you need to try it in multiple different states and angles with it. And then you can pick up different angles to create from there. So again, once you do find a winner, it is not you're there, it is now you need to fine tune even more. So don't ignore the losing ads and don't ignore the winning ads. Pay attention to both of them. All right. So top 5 mistakes, quick recap. Mistake number 1, spending all of your money on day 1. Don't do it. Start at $5 to $10 a day. Mistake number 2, copying others' ads. Use as inspiration and then write your own version. Do not copy and paste. It's not going to work. You're going to burn your time and your money, and you're going to start spending money the wrong direction on data you don't need because that product and brand is not yours. Third one, leaving bad ads running. Kill the losers after 3 to 5 days. And sometimes if you're not feeling the mojo, you can kill them after day 2 or day 3. Like, it's okay to kill a little bit faster. Or if you are, you can go a little bit on the other side, 5 to 7. So kind of thread that needle, but you can see the weekly cadence will give you the upper hand. And then getting upset, number 4. Do not get upset. Use the failure as motivation to try again. As motivation is, that one didn't work. What else can we try that will work? What haven't we tried? And last but not least, do not ignore your winning ads. They need time and attention. You've got to duplicate them. You've got to add more budget to them. And you've got to try even different angles with the winning ads to find better winning ads. A lot of times people miss that point of, like, you can take your winning ad and make it better just by duplicating it and try running it with different copy, or try adding something to it that was different, or try cutting 3 more seconds into the video clip. And now you have a different video ad entirely, but it's still using your champion ad. So again, multi-purpose the content as much as you can. Okay. Yeah, I once spent $100 on a terrible ad in one afternoon. I mean, I've spent thousands of dollars, and Meta and even Google to some extent has absolutely taken advantage of some of the mistakes I've made over the last 2 decades. So I would say the latter part, the last 5 to 10 years, you just get better at avoiding those mistakes. You get better at calculating what you want to test with. So if anything, it's just truly experience and your own failures that guide you to doing something successful. I do think it's, even though we do have some campaigns that are one ads, like we find one ad and it just is a banger and it is crushing their entire revenue stream. You don't want to bet on one ad, right? You want to test small, find the winners, spend big, and then that $100 spend eventually leads to millions in revenue for my client because we were able to fine tune it and rework it. And then, yeah, I love every expert you admire was once a complete beginner, myself included. Everybody was all a beginner at one point in time, and the only reason they got better is they tried. They made effort, and then they rinse and repeat. Try, fail, rinse, repeat. Try, fail, rinse, repeat. Because after you fail so many times, you're going to be successful in what you're doing and tackling. All right, Q&A. We are a little bit ahead of schedule, but it's okay. So your free gift is your Scale Your Ads checklist. So at the end of the download, I've already given it to you, and I'll post it after the stream. But it is on ultrabyrich.com/live. .com/live. And then you download that PDF guide. And then if you go to the very bottom of the PDF guide, right there, it says scale, no, wrong way. There we go. Scale Your Ads checklist. Look at that. Beautiful thing. So that's 100% free. Download it right now off the website, and you can actually use it when you're launching your next ads. All right. I know we've had a few people come in and out as we've been streaming for the last hour-ish. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to send me a DM. I do not judge. I have heard the craziest and the easiest and the... Yeah, I've heard them all. I've heard all the questions. I am not here to judge. I do like to answer them. But some common questions that I'll answer real quick while we are here is, which platform should I start with? So depending on your product or your service, that recommendation will change. Most of my new clients, I usually recommend Meta. which will give you access to Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. And then if it's like a local service business, we'll usually leverage Google and YouTube. So kind of a good starting point. And then the truth is once your brand scales to 5, 6, 7, 8 figures, you're on all platforms, right? Eventually you're advertising on every platform. And there's TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google, X, Reddit, Pinterest, Snapchat. I mean, there's like 2 or 3 more. Yeah, it's crazy. So you don't want to necessarily advertise on all of them. You want to figure out which network makes the most sense for your product or service, and where is that audience going to most likely be, the lowest hanging fruit. And then you do want to look at costs. Like TikTok's usually $3 to $5K a month in spend to get success, whereas Meta, we can start with our lower $5 to $10 daily budget. So again, budget is an important part. How long should I run a test? Like we talked about, if you've learned anything in this workshop, you should run a test every day and every week. And then depending on how that test performs, you're making changes to turning it off or adding to it. And then what if I have a tiny budget? If your budget's under $5 to $10 a day, you need to save up until you can start spending that consistently, at least for a month. I would not recommend doing this on and off on a daily or weekly basis. It truly needs to be a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day ramp up. And then how do I know if my ad's working? That's a little bit of a double-edged sword. So if the ad's working, how do I know my ad's working? If I don't have sales, how do I know if my ad's working if it is have sales? Obviously, if it has sales, you've got the idea somewhat right. You just need to fine-tune it now. If it doesn't have any sales, you need to take a closer look at some of the other metrics. What's the CPM, the cost to distribute? What's the CPC, how much cost per clicks? And ultimately, what does make sense there? And then you'll be able to make those decisions that I've already given you the information on to cut it or kill it or add it or upgrade it or change it.
Tonight, this viral video of a Utah single father chasing down a tow truck.
All right.
Sweeping social media. Rachel Torres.
And as you can see, we have those questions answered. Okay. I think that's a big one. Before I see results, give it 7 to 14 days minimum. And then, do you need a website? So a lot of brands we've actually launched with like a microsite, or we'll even run on the Facebook page, or like a Facebook shop or an Instagram shop or a TikTok shop. So there are ways of doing that. So you don't even need a website. But I do at least recommend either a Shopify store or a landing page. That way you do have a web presence. It is not required by any means, but it will have a better positioning with your brand altogether. All right, so what to do after today? This week, you're gonna make one small ad. Even if it's a $5 a day, any product, just start. Whatever that ad is, start it, build it, run it, $5 a day, go. And then next week, you're just gonna take a look at it, right? 3, 5, 7 days later. And again, you should be checking this every day to see the stats, see if it's headed the right direction, because you're gonna get smarter at knowing if it is headed the right direction on day 3 or on day 5 after you've done it a handful of times. So you can make those decisions faster. But use that 7-day benchmark as a way to cut it. But ultimately, did it work? Did I have clicks? Did I have sales? Do I have a winner? Or is it just tanking? And then tell me how it went. Send me an email. Drop a message in the Facebook group. Drop me a DM. Let me know about it. I'll be adding some new tips and tricks to my workshop for next week. So I do recommend you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, etc. so you can join the next one. All right. So this is your first 7 days, step by step. You're going to pick your products. You're going to write your ad company. And you're going to write it as if you're talking to a best friend. And then you're going to need that eye-catching photo or video, even if it's you holding the product on video, outside, walking around with a big old smile on your face. Very energetic. And then you're going to launch it, $5 to $10 a day. Do not overthink it. Just create it, launch it, get it going. And then, like we talked about, religiously check your results every day. Clicks, engagement, comments, DMs, sales, what's going on. And then you're going to review. Keep the winners, kill the losers. All right. And then if you want real experts managing your ads, good news. I'd love to talk with you. I'd love to meet you. I offer a lot of different services, especially to clients in this space. You know, if you want multiple strategies across multiple channels, daily ad management, Slack channel, and we do include all copy ad creation as well. So I'd love to have a session with you and talk about your business. And you can book a free discovery call with me. If you'd like to meet me, and we can go over your business and your numbers and your website in real time, get my opinion completely free, and we can talk about next steps. But scaling ads is like a game. The more you play, the better you get. You've now learned what ads are. You've learned the 3-step scaling system. You've got 5 powerful tips, and you know 5 mistakes to avoid. So you're already 90% ahead of everybody else in this space. So you got this. Drop some fires in the chat. Did you learn something new? If you're seeing this after it's posted, definitely let me know if you did learn something new and or something you'd like to learn new for next week. I'll be updating these each week as we go through our workshops. But as always, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for streaming with me. You can get started with me by scanning this QR code. It'll take you straight to my private calendar link. And I'd love to chat with you if you're interested. But that leads us to our farewell. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining my stream. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, send me a DM. I'd love to hear from you.